Okay, so I'm Michaela, I'm 30 years old, and I'm a doctor. I was asked about the habit of dumpster diving, and I don't do dumpster diving. I've never done, partly because it's like illegal or it's not um, something that you are encouraged to do, and also in my social circle, it's not common. I think it's a big problem with the food waste from stores. I wish that the food going bad would come to use. Either if you can donate it to like schools or commercial kitchen that could use it the same day, or if you could donate it to people who don't have that much money who could use the food, or if you can just sell it at the discount price. And then I was asked about the customs of leftovers and how I came to start cooking with leftovers. And it was something done in my family when I was growing up. Usually we had pyttipanna, like everyone else with leftovers, but of course we cooked other things with leftovers as well. And I usually, if I have leftover food, I would either make it as an entire meal and then just eat it, reheat it and eat it as it is, or I would put it into separate containers. So I would put like sauce in one container and like meat in one container. And then we talked about potatoes, which I would definitely not store in the freezer because they go bad or they taste weird. And then also what is important when storing food, and I think that you should put it in the freezer as soon as possible. And of course you shouldn't store it for too long in the freezer either. And I was also asked when I make leftovers what kind of food I usually cook, and I would say it would go more like traditionally Swedish.
You can continue.
Yeah, okay. And then I was asked to describe this like when I cooked this special meal, and I did a meal with basically it was based from a sauce that was left over from Christmas, and then I had that in the freezer and also some meat, and I would have to take it out of the freezer. Ideally, I would take it out in the morning and put it on the countertop or like the edge of the sink, but I'm usually not that planned, so if I would have forgotten, I would just put it into a hot water bath to make it defrost faster. And then I was asked like how would I know that it's defrosted, and well, I would check, and basically I am an impatient person, so sometimes I would take it before it was completely defrosted, but I always reheat it, so it's not a big problem. And then for this particular meal, I had the meat already pre-cut, and then I cut up an onion, and also peeled the potatoes while peeling the onion, and I would boil the potatoes and saute the onion. And also when the onion was finished, I would put mushrooms that I usually store in the freezer, and just put them in the pan, and then the meat, and then the leftover sauce. And once that was like combined, I would put it to the side and then make the mash, and put some ingredients like a little bit of milk and butter and salt and pepper to make it nice, and then put it into the container to put it into the oven. And I said it was important to put the mash on the side to make it go nice and crispy, and then the sauce and meat into the middle. And to make it crisp up a little bit, I would put it on a high heat for like 10 to 15 minutes in the oven until it goes golden. And then I am very happy because my meal is ready to be served. And usually the leftovers that I store in the freezer isn't enough to make for a whole family. So it's usually just for me or maybe another person. And then also I was asked if it was something special or important with this meal or what was best with it. And for me, it's that I'm reminded of Christmas, since the sauce is something we only enjoy at Christmas. So it's nice to make a new meal that reminds me of the niceness of Christmas, since it's my favorite time of year. I was also asked if I would use leftovers from like friends, if we could combine it, and I would say I wouldn't rule it out, but it would have to be someone that I trust, like with food, who knows how to store it and also like cook it properly from the beginning. What would what's the problem for me? And it's that I have I don't always know what is in my freezer. I have to go through it from time to time. So one thing that would make it easier for me is if it was a digital system. Sometimes I try to do it with pen and paper, but then I always lose the paper, and then I don't put new stuff on, and I don't scratch out the things I take out. So if there would be like a digital system keeping track of everything that is in my freezer, that would be very helpful.
And lastly, you talk about using your phone on this system being intact to the freezer itself. What do you think about that?
If I would have the system in my phone, I don't always have the phone with me while I do stuff in the freezer. So it would kind of be a similar problem as the paper and pen system I've tried to use a couple of times, but it never works. So it would have to be something either automatically to my phone, that the freezer somehow knows what I put in and take out, or it has to be like attached to the freezer itself.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.